Welcome to the Cattle Talk Podcast, your weekly breakdown of cattle market fundamentals, key news, and the insights shaping the industry. Trading commodity futures and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors.
All right, I've got Nick with us here today. How's it going, Nick?
Good, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit about cattle market. I just want to start with the futures here. We're going to be talking about a few futures charts. Pretty decent day here the last couple trading sessions in cattle. What can you tell me about the reversal we had yesterday? Really came storming back and then had a pretty good day today on the futures as well, Nick. What can you tell me about a little bit of the sell-off correction we had there for a while and then rally the last 2 days in the cattle market?
Well, I think that the market just got a little bit more enthusiastic about some cash activity this week. You know, we're a couple bucks down from where we were last week in the cash market, and they've got some cattle procured. I think as of this morning, they had 23,000 head around them, so they actually got some cattle bought in lower money, and I think that actually sparked the futures a little bit. Certainly got a little bit worser basis today, with the market rebounding a bit, actually trading above cash on the futures market. So I guess that's kind of what sparked it. I do wonder if you know we should be moving into a time here where boxes start to increase. Haven't really seen it much yet, but I think the market's seeing that seasonality to it in the future here too.
How'd the kill look this week? Was it still pretty light?
Really light. Yeah, the cow harvest was as well too. Interestingly, the dairy cow harvest is higher than last year. We're actually expanding the dairy herd up about 250,000 head above a year ago, and the dairy cow harvest is actually holding the overall cow harvest a little higher than a year ago.
What can you tell me about last week? We had a cattle on feed report, and I know you wanted to dive in this a little bit. Let's go a little bit deeper. Let's talk about the placements number specifically, just to wrap up some of our talk on the cattle on feed report last week.
Yeah, if you want to pull that chart up there, Cade. We've been looking at, the last 4 months. Well, we looked at March, April, May, and June, the placement data was suggesting that that we were going to have 8-9% fewer cattle. That'd be the last slide in that thing there, Cade. We're going to have about 8-9% fewer cattle for those months. And now after this report, that's only showing down less than 4% for the month of July. So even though placements, were a little bit friendly in that report because they were less than the estimated average, we're showing we're gaining some cattle back relative to last year in the middle of summer. Now, obviously that does not account for any carryover cattle in there, and there's a little noise in this data because we dumped the last 3 weight classes together, and obviously we're making cattle really big today too. So there's going to be a little noise in all that data, but seasonally we increase the cattle harvest from here going forward. And we're narrowing the gap between last year and this year as far as the fed supply.
What are some stories in the cattle market here going forward you think that's going to move the markets around?
Well, the biggest thing we got to watch for is what boxes are capable of here. Feels like we've hit some resistance in the past around $400. And we're off of that again here from the spring. We're down in the 380s here. Last year we saw a 20% increase in choice beef from March to kind of its summer high. And if we would see that again, choice beef was around $400 this past March. So if we would gain 20% on that, that's $480 choice beef. I don't know that the market is capable of that. We're going to find out, but the last few weeks in futures, I think they certainly think there's a possibility that these boxes can move higher yet. They don't have that kind of premium priced in yet, but demand is going to be the story here because supply we know is down from last year, and it's very hard to predict demand. But if demand does pick up seasonally here like it normally does, that's going to be the story builder.
Cutout main story builder there. still running on some low numbers. It doesn't appear that's going to change anytime soon. And especially when I look at the Western Corn Belt, if you look at Tornado Alley there, it's really dry in the United States. So this is not conducive of really rebuilding a herd anytime soon from that part of the world, is it?
Certainly not. Certainly not. I mean, you do hear of a lot of stories, of heifers getting purchased to be bred, and then anecdotally, we've talked to some folks in the West that have kept extra heifers back in this market environment. But yeah, as dry as what we are over there in the Western Corn Belt and towards the Southwest, a lot of those guys are already talking about not being able to keep them heifers, and if that market kind of dwindles because of a lot of bred heifers on the market and no grass, those heifers may eventually find their way to packing plants. So I definitely think the grass situation is a big part of when we start or not start the expansionary phase. And so far, I think we're starting it with less grass than what we need to start it.
And one of the other big stories here recently, Rollins canceled her trip to Arizona amid the ongoing biosecurity questions. There was a lot of talk and a lot of risk off the last probably week heading into this visit to the border, supposedly. And it seemed like the last 2 days, we really bottomed this market when it was kind of announced that she wasn't going to fulfill that trip here this week. So USDA's cancellation keeps focus on the unresolved New World screwworm risks, obviously, which remain the primary barrier to reopening the southern border here with cattle trade. So something to keep an eye on going forward. Doesn't seem like that's going to be the case anytime soon, this week at least. Any other questions on the cattle market? Any other talking points you really want to cover today?
No, I think that kind of wraps it up, Mike. I think that kind of wraps it up. Yeah, I mean, if we don't open that border, the market knows that we're not going to have the Mexican feeders or fats coming in, and that's a little friendly. But when they do open that, it's going to send the feeder cattle index lower because obviously the quality of the feeders coming from there, not to mention the numbers would decrease the index. So that's to be seen, I guess, what happens there. But canceling that meeting, we don't think it's going to be anytime soon.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in today. Reminder to click the link in the description to sign up for any daily market commentary, get fast insights into the ag markets and more. Also, check out our website at professionalagmarketing.com.